First, I want to thank everyone for their posting their messages that I get on a regular basis. Today, I wanted to make a post kind of answering one of the common questions that I'm getting a lot. I have a lot of people who have messaged me about the post that we did, What's Your Why? And the common question that was coming across, I was going to answer everyone individually, but I realized that most people's questions were both all falling in one direction, and the direction was understanding the history of your name. A lot of people know nothing about their name, but the common question that kept coming up is, how do you know your why? You know, a lot of people are struggling to figure out what their why really is. I think it's impossible to know your why until you know more about your name. Understand what is it about your name. Understand. Back in the days, I mean, a whole village, the whole village would get together to find out what a child's name was. Um, it was all about your name when I was growing up. My grandmother, even whether it was something that I was getting praised for, or it was something I was getting in trouble for, she would constantly remind you, "You're Gordon. How dare you go out there and behave that way? You're a Gordon. I'm so proud of you. You're acting just like a Gordon. Your name is everything." Everything that we purchase and we do right now, your Louis Vuittons, your Michael Jordans, your Michael Kors, Wells Fargo, where you cash your check, everything is, all these places are names. These are people's last names. We invest in people's last name. D.R. Horton, those are last names. All these things that we spend money on a regular basis, you're not buying a product, you're buying a name. And the problem with a lot of people is they don't know anything about their name. You know, when a person would name you after your grandmother or after your grandfather or after someone they admired, there was meaning behind that name. There was power behind that name. And I think that part of the reason why a lot of us struggle to know who we are is because we either don't know what our name is, or we don't know the meaning behind it. I mean, it's until you know what happened before you, how do you know whether you need to correct things or whether things are just fine the way that they are? I mean, as I grew up, everything was all about protecting our name. But when I looked into our history, there was a lot of things that I didn't like that I wanted to improve. That's where my goals came from. Neither one of my parents graduated high school. So I have to graduate high school. Neither one of my parents went to college, so I have to make sure I go to college. You know, my life was based on trying to. I'm always constantly trying to improve our history, to change our stripes, to give some meaning to our name, or in a way that I will be proud to be remembered. I mean, my lifelong goal is to, when I leave this earth, to have my name on a building or something. Why? Because they respected my name. People wouldn't struggle to know what they're fighting for if they knew where they came from. Find that mom, find dad, find grandma, find grandpa, and find out. Tell me more about my name. Tell me more about my last name. What were your parents like? What were my cousins and my uncles and my aunts? What were they like before me? Is this something that, how far do I need to go improvement wise? What do I need to do to make our next generation better? How can I know if I'm making it better or not if I have no clue what happened before me? The one thing that our younger generation's losing right now is respect for the people that came before us. There was a time when that was like a mandate, learning more about grandma and grandpa was like a mandate, finding out and spending time and having family reunions and stuff every year. These were mandates, but the truth is a lot of those traditions died with grandma and grandpa. We have a new generation of people out here that young folks that are doing things differently, but at the same time, we're losing touch with one another. We're not celebrating together. We're not sharing together anymore, and half of us barely even know each other. I mean, if you're not careful, people are gonna start accidentally marrying cousins and stuff because we have no clue who our family is anymore. We have no clue what our name means. Where'd it come from? What origin is it? Yeah, how long has this been carried on? How far back can you go? What did your uncles and aunts and grandmas and grandpas, what did they do for a living? Maybe that art skill came from somebody else. Maybe these sales skills came from somebody else. Everything that we have as a talent, I mean, usually there's a DNA trail that it came from, and learning more about your name and your history will help you to learn more about yourself and help you to set your goals and help you to find your why. Your why starts with knowing you and knowing who set things up before you. Where did this history come from? Our habits are passed through our DNA 9 times out of 10. Find out where yours came from and then discover your why. Remember, if it is to be, it's up to me.